Hi, I'm Mr. Eisele, and today I'm going to give you a story that again came from a creative writing class that I took at Boise State University. And the theme we were given by the teacher was to talk about being alone. And as I thought about it, I thought of some times when I was alone and when I was lonely, but I thought, anybody's had these experiences. These really aren't very different from other people. And I'd like to talk about something that's a little bit different. And then I asked myself this question. I said, can it ever be a good thing to be alone? And I thought of a time when it really was a good thing. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I love being alone on a trout stream at the end of autumn. It's absolutely my favorite place to be and my favorite time of the year. The colors around me are just magnificent. The grasses in the meadows are golden and they wave in the breeze. The streamside brush is red to orange to green. The cottonwoods are yellow and gold, and it's absolutely magnificent. And as the sun arcs across the sky, the colors of the rocks and everything else goes from being a golden orange to the deep blues of midday and then back again, bookended by beautiful sunrises and sunsets. It had been a wonderful year, and this was the very end of the fly fishing season. There had been a 25-inch brown trout that came up like a submarine, just barely poking its jaws above the surface to take my tiny dry fly, and then went back down with its tail coming up as it porpoised and went back down under the water. It replays like a movie in my mind, and I'm sure I'm never going to forget it. But what a lot of people who don't fish don't understand is there was so much more to the experience than just the fishing. There have been sandhill cranes that stand about this high in the meadows and make a weird trilling noise. When they get up to fly, they look like they're monsters. They almost look like pterodactyls. They're just absolutely huge. And as I would walk around the stream to try a different spot, a lot of times the bushes would just explode with coveys of quail or chuckers. And then on some of the lakes that I would fish, there would be western grebes. And if you've never seen western grebes in the spring, you really should see them. They have a spectacular mating dance where both the male and female do this half-running, half-flying thing where for hundreds of yards, it looks like they're literally running on top of the water. It's an awesome thing to see. All of those things are what make being in nature and fly fishing so exciting and so important to me. It's something I absolutely love to do. My wife thinks I'm crazy for going out before sunrise and coming back after sunset. She thinks, how can you be out there so long and not get tired or bored? I wish you could see what I see and feel what I feel. Because to me, I'm not tired. I'm refreshed. I'm rejuvenated. I'm excited when I come back. For a lot of people, going fishing is a social experience. They go with their friends. They might not go at all if they don't have people to go with. I guess I understand that. I've had memorable fishing trips with my dad and my 4 brothers, and those have been special times, times of bonding. But I also have to tell you that some of the most spiritual times I've ever had in my life have been when I've been alone in nature. And I think it's because without other people around, without the conversation to distract me, I'm able to notice so much more. I'm able to pay attention to nature so much more. And it makes all the difference. Then I had some trout start to rise in front of me, taking some little mayflies. And it was game on. I've got to try to catch one of those. So I had my waders on, I moved further out into the stream and I tried to cast towards that fish. And I couldn't quite reach him. So I went out a little bit further in the stream. But as I took a step, the bottom wasn't gravel, it wasn't clay, it wasn't sand, it was a real mucky material. So I kind of sunk in, but I still wasn't close enough, so I took another step. Well, that was a big mistake, because this time I sunk in even more. In fact, the water crept up more and more. Finally, it spilled over the top of my waders, and I had 36-degree water coming into my waders. And I quickly backed up and got back to the side of the stream. And I thought, uh-oh, man, I'm shivering already. That was really cold, you know. The air temperature had been really warm, and now the water was making me really cold. And I thought, okay, maybe enough's enough. Maybe I should go home. But it wasn't long before I thought, no, I've already warmed up. I'm having a lot of fun. I can tough it out. I'm going to have fun. And so I stayed until dark. And you know what? I didn't catch one of those fish. And I still had a great time. I had the time of my life. I really did. The poet John Keats famously said, "Truth is beauty, beauty truth. That is all you know in life and all you need to know." As a student, I thought that was a brilliant comment. As an adult, I don't really buy it, because beauty leads to caring and to loving. And without that love, that beauty is wasted. But the beauty of nature and of the stream that day, and the wildlife and the birds and the trees and the leaves was not wasted on me. This was something I was going to remember for a long time. And part of it, I think, was because this was the end of the season. So I'm going to have to wait several more months for the season to open again. Because some of our trophy trout fisheries close at the end of November and don't open up again until Memorial Day weekend. Unlike some spots like the Boise River that you can fish year-round. And I thought, is it because it's the last day of the season that I'm enjoying this so much? It's kind of like having the last golden delicious apple of the season. You bite into it, and it's juicy, and you go, oh, this is great. Because you know it's the last one you're going to have until next year's crop comes in. But then again, as I think about it, obviously I'd like to fish next year, but how do I know that I'm going to be here next year to fish? And the reason I say that is because I recently got a letter in the mail about a high school reunion. And there was the name of all my classmates, and I recognized a lot of them as being friends. And then there were some marks against some of the names. And as I looked more closely, I realized those people had died. And I thought, oh my gosh, what happened? I mean, I know we're not in our 20s anymore, but I don't feel old. Those people died way too young. And maybe I better really appreciate and value the fun times in life, the good things in life, like fly fishing and being in nature while I can. Because you know what? I don't think the Grim Reaper practices catch and release like I do. I think once he's got you hooked for good. And finally, I really enjoyed this time. And think about it. I was alone the whole time, but I was never lonely. And there's a difference. You can be alone and not be lonely. Or you can be alone and be very lonely. I chose to be alone and not lonely. I'm going to remember these things through the off season. I'm going to dream about the places I'm going to fish next year. I'm going to tie up the flies that I need for next year, look at maps of streams that I've never fished before, and make my plans. And all of these memories are going to help me keep me really revved up for next year. I look forward to that, and I thank you for listening to my speech.
triangles in the range.